All right, we're back with live action. Second innings, and the Zimbabweans are going to be chasing 133 for a win in match number 1. You're watching live coverage of the Singapore Tri-Nation T20I series brought to you by Instagram.
Brian Chari taking first strike for Zimbabwe. He's partnered by Regis Chakabva. Brian Chari, of course, joining the squad from Zimbabwe a couple of days ago. Wasn't part of the Tri-Series in Bangladesh. Short. Pulled away. Gone for 4. Authoritative shot from Brian Chari.
Fantastic, confident-looking start for the Zimbabweans here. 1 bounce over the boundary line and the first boundary of the innings for the Zimbabweans. Nepal will have to be on the mark right from the get-go because they don't have too much to defend. 133 is all that Zimbabwe need. Short ball. This time on the offside. Fantastic cut there. Found the gap to precision to the right, to the left of the backward point fielder, to the right of third man, and it's boundary number 2 in the first over. Brian Chari is well on his way.
Yeah, Brian Chari, talented cricketer. Any opportunity to score runs, he will not pass up on. Seen the pull shot a couple of balls ago. This time, conventional late cut behind point. Again, punched off the back foot by Brian Chari.
He's making this look easy. Brian Chari make that 3 in 3, a hat-trick of boundaries, and Zimbabwe are racing along. 12 for no loss with 2 balls to spare in the very first over. And suddenly Sompal Kami is under pressure.
Not the start that Nepal would have wanted. We were talking just before the break about what they would want to do. The first thing was definitely get early wickets. Keep the Zimbabwean batsman as quiet as possible in this opening period. Fortunately, he's just been a bit too short on his length, Sompal Kami. Brian Chari has taken advantage of that. Again, wonderful fielding, certainly saved another boundary.
Well, he saved a boundary for sure, but Brian Chari, my word, is he looking good or what? Right out of the meat of the bat. Chakabva from the non-strikers end, best seat in the house. Chakabva had some useful contributions in Bangladesh, so he certainly is in good touch. So it's been 6 out of 6 on the shorter side from Sompal Kami, and a confident-looking Brian Chari has gotten 13 in the first over. Chakabva will be raring to go as well, Tino.
Absolutely. We talked about the surface and wanting or expecting the ball to come onto the bat with the seamers. That's definitely happened. You can see that from the strokes that Brian Chari played in that first over. So batting conditions will be good. I'm pretty sure when those spinners come on, expect the ball to continue turning, possibly a little bit more than it did in that first innings.
No, you don't have to wait for too long. Guess what? It's Sandeep Lamichhane with the ball in hand already. So he obviously hasn't taken too much time for Paras Katka to realize that spin is the way to go. And after a very expensive first over, he brings on his ace spinner. It's going to be this man on your screen, Sandeep Lamichhane, who will have to do all the damage, get early breakthroughs if Nepal want to create any sort of opportunity for them to win this game. Paras Katka standing at first slip. Sandeep Lamichhane, easy to say that he's possibly Nepal's biggest cricket sensation. There you go. Spin right away for Sandeep Lamichhane. This is going to be a very interesting passage of play. Their best spinner against the top order of the Zimbabwean batting lineup.
Absolutely. Wonderful delivery on the mark straight away. Lamichhane, who's just returned from the Caribbean, where he was taking part in the Caribbean Premier League. But straight away, ball one. Good length, drawing the batsman forward, turning past the outside edge.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of seasons for the Barbados Tridents in the Caribbean Premier League for Sandeep Lamichhane's team, but he did his bit, was consistently amongst the wickets, as he always is. It doesn't matter whether it's the Indian Premier League or the Big Bash League in Australia or the Caribbean Premier League, Sandeep Lamichhane is always amongst the wickets. The big question is, can he trouble the Zimbabwean top order? Now, wayward from Lamichhane here, shot in the leg side. Difficult for the wicketkeeper on that occasion, and runs away for a much-needed boundary here.
That's naughty from the keeper. He's not gone down the leg side to try and cover that ball if it goes past Regis Chakabva. Really expect that he'll try and get his gloves behind there. He could have saved that boundary. They can't afford many at the moment, Nepal. Zimbabwe have got away to an absolute flyer. In the air and gone. He's just pushed at that Regis Chakabva, and it's carried. Good catch taken. We spoke about early wickets being the order of the day for Nepal. Good catch. And the first wicket falls.
Fantastic. This is exactly what Paras wanted from Sandeep. A little bit of air. And Regis Chakabva, ball number one, all he could do is manage to lob it straight to short cover. Excellent sharp catch there. And Nepal strike wicket number one. Excellent comeback here from Nepal. They will need to do this a lot more often if they're going to make a match of this, because Brian Chari at the non-strikers end is looking in fabulous touch. It was an erratic start by Sandeep Lamichhane, gifting 4 runs down the leg side, comes back very strongly with the wicket. And it's Mutambotse, he is number 3 for Zimbabwe, another batsman who was amongst the runs in Bangladesh. So there are a few who are there in that batting lineup who've all been in good touch in the recent past.
Absolutely. Had a wonderful partnership with Ryan Burl in the first game in Dhaka in Bangladesh. Against Bangladesh. Ooh, short. He's gone for the pull shot. It's held in the surface and it's gone past the keeper again. So that'll be 4 byes. And just what Nepal do not need at this stage.
Well, if there's one thing that's going to happen for sure, Sandeep Lamichhane is going to give the wicketkeeper the stare, because that should have been stopped by the keeper. He went down the leg side for the turn. Two overs completed, 23 for 1 Zimbabwe, and a successful second over for Team Nepal, with Sandeep Lamichhane, their ace spinner, giving them the much needed opening breakthrough. What that means is that Nepal, very rightly so, will continue with spin. It's going to be the debutant Kushal Malla to be bowling left arm spin from the pavilion end. Debutant Kushal Malla. Going to be interesting to see how he goes about his proceedings. And he's going to be bowling to Brian Chari. And Chari continues where he left off at the end of the first over. Boundary off the first ball. Vacant mid-wicket region. And he takes the debutant to the boundary line in his first delivery.
This is a good shot from Brian Cherry, and he's looking to continue getting on with things. Not all that bad a delivery, to be honest. And he's just decided that he's going to get on with things, Brian Cherry.
He looked for that big one down the track. Missed out though. Pressure certainly on the debutant Kushal Malla.
It's a shot that he plays well. Likes to take the spinners on. Straight boundaries will be key for him, Brian Cherry.
Well, they certainly can afford to play some dot balls as well, because they've raced away to 27 in the first 15 deliveries. Well above the required run rate. Not much of movement though I can see from Brian Cherry, but he's happy to just tuck it away on the leg side.
He's not a big one in terms of foot movement, Brian Cherry, but what he does well is he waits for the ball to come to him. Plays the ball quite often right under his eyes. And that just helps him when he doesn't quite move his feet sometimes as well as he should.
And very impressive so far. He's obviously got his boundaries, but he's happy to play the dot balls as well. And we come to the end of a very decent over from Kushal Malla. First over, 3 overs completed, and Zimbabwe 27 for 1. Brian Cherry batting on 18. We're back live here for over number 4, and a remarkable catch there. Sandeep Lamichhane, guess what? Gets Mutambotsi or not. Fantastic, and Nepal are back in this game. How about that for a catch? Certainly the catch of the day so far.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Poor shot from Tino Mtombodzi. There was a man back at long off anyway. Not the shot you want to play when you haven't got any runs on the board. He goes for naught, 27 for 2, Zimbabwe.
No surprises that Sandeep Lamichhane is already into the thick of things. 2 wickets in just 7 deliveries, and he's brought Nepal right back in this.
It's a good call from the captain. Best bowler, and the best bowler has answered the call. 2 really important wickets in his first couple of overs. Still 4 balls to go in this one. Wonderfully bowled, drawing the batsman forward again and just getting enough turn past that outside edge.
It was a confident look, reaching out for that one.
Good cricket. Well played by Brian Chari. And you were just talking about his approach and how he was free-flowing earlier on in the innings. Now he's lost a couple of wickets at the other end, and he's got to take a rain check. He can't continue to play with the freedom that he was playing with earlier because they've lost those couple of wickets. He's joined at the crease now by the captain, Sean Williams. Played a hand in Zimbabwe's final game in Bangladesh to get across the line versus Afghanistan. Other than that, struggled throughout the series. We'll be looking to have a good start to this one. It's gone straight up in the air. And Sandeep Lamichhane has got another. It's the captain, Sean Williams, who goes. And at the moment, the Zimbabwean innings in tatters. The captain, Sean Williams, just faces one ball. He's gone for naught. And Zimbabwe now reduced to 28 for 3. The beauty of T20 cricket. The score was 19 after the first 2 overs, eh?
From 19 for no loss at the end of the first 2 overs, Zimbabwe are now 28 for 3. Courtesy that man once again, Sandeep Lamichhane. Nepal's biggest cricket sensation. Boy, is he spinning a web on this Zimbabwean batting lineup. He's all over them at the moment, 7 for 3, and he hasn't even completed his second over. Suddenly this target of 133 looking a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. Down the leg side once again. No, you don't want to be erratic here. It's very difficult for the wicketkeeper. And it's the third boundary that's gone off Sandeep's bowling. So basically those 12 runs that he's conceded have all come by virtue of byes because of the wicketkeeper.
That'll be disappointing. Don't need that at this stage. And it's gone through the keeper again. Now, Lamichhane is not going to be happy here. And I'm just wondering if the keeper is actually struggling to read Lamichhane. End of the 4th over, 37 for 3.
Well, we're back live for over number 5, but that doesn't make for a pretty reading there for a Zimbabwean fan watching this. Sandeep Lamichhane is all over the Zimbabwean team at the moment. Barring Brian Chari, none of the other batsmen have managed to get off the mark. They're finding it absolutely impossible to play Sandeep Lamichhane at the moment. It's going to be Kushal Malla to continue from the pavilion end. Much better, more confident looking strike there. A direct hit. It has to be out. The umpire, yes, he raises his finger. And that's wicket number 4 for Nepal. Remarkable passage of play for Nepal here. And the only batsmen who look like getting some sort of runs will have to walk back to the pavilion. Have a look at that. They've been outstanding on the field. Directed, straight forward for the umpire. Took no time in raising his finger. Tino, what in the world is happening here?
Absolutely brilliant. From Nepal, 19 after the first couple of overs, and they looked like they had their backs against the wall at the moment, clawing back into this game. Brilliant piece of fielding for the direct hit to get rid of Brian Chari, who was looking dangerous. He went for 19 from just 18 balls. Zimbabwe now 37 for 4.
Well, one thing's for sure, we certainly will have plenty of Nepali fans watching live coverage of this game. They follow their team very closely no matter where they play in the world. And this has been the story all along. Very often their batsmen let them down, but it's their bowlers and their fielders that fight back ever so often. And this has been an outstanding display of bowling and fielding by Nepal so far. It was a nothing shot from the captain, Sean Williams. He had a very ordinary toe to Bangladesh.
And got out in a very similar fashion in the first game there as well.
Talk us through this batting lineup. Do they have a decent middle order, does the Zimbabwean batting lineup, Tino?
They do indeed. A man who's on strike now, Timson Maruma, despite having a really good technique, has been in the runs. Had some good runs in the warm-up game in Bangladesh, but one who takes his time, plays good quality cricket strokes. Ryan Burl talked about good tour that he had in Bangladesh.
It's going to be
Neville
very...
Madziva, handy with the bat. Wellington Masakadze as well can contribute with the willow. But at the moment, Zimbabwe will feel that these two are going to have to score the majority of these remaining runs.
What's also going to be very interesting to see next over if Paras Katka would continue with Sandeep Lamichan. He's already done with 2 overs. Tino, what would you do if you were Paras?
It's important to still have that striking element later on in the innings. And I think he's come on, he's taken early wickets, he's done his job. You wouldn't want to out-bowl him now and not have somebody to strike for you at the end if you need wickets. 5 overs gone, 38 for 4.
Right, Tino, you said you were probably going to take the defensive approach, but guess what? Paras Katka throws the ball to Sandeep Lamichhane once again for over number 3. Have a look at those figures. 3 for 12. And not one of those 12 runs have come off the bat. And so he's almost been unplayable this evening as Sandeep Lamichhane. All eyes were going to be on him. He was the star attraction. And boy, has he lived up to his name or what. He's brought Nepal right back in this game.
Paras Katka obviously going for the kill. Timson Maruma playing the reverse sweep on that last occasion. And I'm pretty sure the conversation with Ryan Burl will be, let's try and play this guy straight, see him out. And we know we don't have such a prolific spinner to have to deal with throughout the rest of the innings. You don't want to be getting out to him playing a reverse sweep.
And we saw that in the previous over with Kushal Malla bowling from the pavilion end. They seemed to be a lot more comfortable playing him. It obviously didn't do as much off the pitch as it is doing for Sandeep Lamichhane, and that's why he poses such a threat.
Plays the conventional sweep this time. Good work. Saving a couple of runs there. Abhinash Buhara.
We haven't seen Bora with the ball. Like I mentioned, Slinger Malinga is who he's going to remind you of. Loves bowling those Yorkers, slingy action. But with spinners getting so much of purchase and assistance, probably won't see too much of Karan Casey, Avinash Bora and Sompal Kami.
Definitely favouring the slower bowlers, the surface. And that is something that we did mention before the game started, that just looks like a surface that will provide some grip and some good turn for the spinners. And it's done exactly that. Looking to cut that away, Ryan Bill. The googly to finish the 6th over. End of the power play, Zimbabwe 39 for 4.
Well, right back live here with pictures from the Indian Association here in Singapore. You're watching game number 1 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I series, brought to you by InstaRem. Match number 1 featuring Zimbabwe and Nepal. For those of you just tuning in, quick recap. Zimbabwe bowled first. Paras Katka won the toss, opted to bat first. They managed 132. Chasing 133, it's been all Sandeep Lamichhane in the second innings. 3 wickets in his first 3 overs, and Zimbabwe are in a spot of bother. 39 for 4 at the end of the power play. And Zimbabwe have 97 to get in the 14 overs that they have remaining. And there's a change in the bowling as well. It's going to be Karan Casey from the pavilion end.
Good running by the Zimbabweans. And this is going to be, as you were talking about, Navneet, a rebuilding phase. Both batsmen at the crease, very capable, but they will not be able to play with the freedom that they would have liked or normally do because of the situation that the team is in. 40 for 4 after an explosive start from Brian Chari. Eventually perished for 19. It'll just be a period where Zimbabwean batsmen at the crease at the moment, Ryan Bill, Timson Maruma, must have to bide their time, get a partnership going.
And what's important for them to note is that it's okay to have a few quiet overs. The run rate isn't of any concern at the moment. It's around a run a ball at the moment, and you obviously know that you can fancy yourself in the latter half of the innings to go for the big ones. So they want to rotate. They want to see some of these spinners through at the moment. Slower one from Karan Casey. Was dying on the batsman there. Did well to keep it off the stumps. Just the single for Maruma for Ryan Bill, and he brings Maruma back on strike.
I think you'll find on this surface in particular that when the seamers are on, the ball's coming onto the bat, it's a lot easier to bat. Saw the left arm spinner come on, didn't get the purchase that Lamichhane is getting.
What are you setting in building?
So it is a case of, listen guys, yes, the spinners are getting the ball to talk. Lamichhane has only got 1 over left. And whether he's going to bowl that just now remains to be seen. But if he does, let's play him out. Yes, they do have other spinners, but they're not going to be the same threat that Lamichhane has been.
You are doing good. You are good.
Lots of cricket under Timson Maruma's belt. Ryan Bill, lesser experienced at this level, but enough first-class cricket to understand that.
The Singapore cricket team will certainly be watching this game very closely, and possibly a few things that they already will take back. And the big takeaway certainly is the fact that there's plenty of purchase and assistance for the spinners, and that is something that we will probably see a lot more of going into this tournament. There still is plenty of bounce for the medium pacers, but pretty much little to no lateral movement at all off the pitch, so making it a lot easier for the batsmen, Tino. 7 overs completed, Zimbabwe 42 for 4. So it does look like Paras Katka is going to save the final over of Sandeep Laminchane for later in the innings. It's going to be the vice captain to bowl some off spin. Dipendra Singh Airi comes on. Very good contribution with the bat earlier on today. And he's a very handy bowler as well. Always in the thick of things, Dipendra Singh Airi. Maruma happy to start off with a single.
It won't be easy for Zimbabwe to go on from this to get across the line. It'll be a good test of the remaining batsman's character. We talked about the two at the crease right now, Maruma and Ryan Burl. Richmond Mutumbami next in. Wouldn't say accomplished in terms of his place in the side, just coming back into the team after a good domestic season. Got an important half century in Bangladesh in the third T20 international. You'll feel that he will have to carry a lot of this load as well, the runs remaining to get for Zimbabwe to get across the line.
It's been a quiet passage of play thus far in the last 3 overs. But there was excellent cover drive there, goes past the short cover fielder and to the longer side of the ground, and a comfortable 2 for Ryan Burl. And this is exactly the order of play right now. This is what Zimbabwe need. They would want to just rotate strike, keep the scoreboard ticking. Just when I say that, Ryan Burl decides to be a little adventurous, Tino.
It's not a shot I've seen him play a lot. Obviously, has the confidence, believes that he can play it well enough. Again, Ryan Burl, this time in between the keeper and Paras Katka, that first slip and goes to the boundary for 4.
We've seen 5 boundaries go past the keeper. That's 20 out of the 49 runs for Zimbabwe. They obviously aren't going to be complaining.
Better from Ryan Burl. End of the 8th over, 50 for 4. Curran Casey to continue from the pavilion end. Tucked away by Ryan Burl. Looks like that was another slower ball. And looks like he's using a fair amount of these slower balls. Nav, taking pace off the ball, making it difficult for the batsman to get momentum into the shot.
Well, he's probably realized that the slower you bowl, the more purchase you get from this wicket. And we saw the assistance that the spinners got, and Curran Casey is trying to replicate the same, mixing it up. Shot on this occasion. Maruma couldn't do much, climbing on the batsman. 51 for 4, we're into the 9th over. It's probably advantage Nepal at the moment, but difficult to pick a winner, difficult to pick one team, you have to say. Anybody's game from here on.
tucked away fine by Timson Maruma. Just be the single. Really like the character of the Nepal side. Didn't get the runs that they felt they should have got. Didn't have a good start to the batting innings. Finished it off well. Gave themselves a fighting chance, but they needed to start the bowling innings extremely well as well. Went for a few runs in the first couple of overs. And Lamichhane coming in, getting wickets for his captain at a crucial stage, pegging Zimbabwe back. Looking for the quick single. Decides against it. Timson Maruma.
On a slightly different note, Tino, credit to the Singapore Cricket Association for making this happen, to bringing all the three teams here. Despite the busy schedules of each of these teams making this happen over the course of a week, credit to the Singapore Cricket Association in conducting this tournament. And while I say that, an excellent cover drive from Ryan Burl finds the gap on the offside, and a much needed boundary for Zimbabwe. Excellent shot there.
Nicely played by Ryan Burl. Just given a little bit of width. Mid-off is up in the circle. And that just gives you an indication of how short those straighter boundaries are. As soon as it went past that man at mid-off, in the circle, running away pretty quickly to the boundary. Good cricket from Ryan Burl. A single to end the 9th over, 57 for 4.